to this day, the quarantine's been here and all that. And I question, I'm like, are you working out enough? Like, are you really working on your body enough? So it's just, like, I think that's a forever journey, that part.
Mm-hmm. And I think myself, I initially shied away from trying to do anything physical because I knew I really had a lot of that negative self-talk. And so if I leaned into that of I can't do these things physically, that negative self-talk would get out of control. And what I found, conversely, was that even if I wasn't exactly happy with what was in the mirror, I was really motivated by what I realized my body could do. And that was a really great motivation of, even though maybe in the mirror wasn't perfect, I was really encouraged by, wow, I can really do that. I didn't realize that I could ever do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And that was really encouraging mentally too, of understanding that I put my own limits on myself, and not just physically, but career wise and mentally and that sort of thing. So it's really opened some doors mentally as far as things that I didn't think I could accomplish before, making those few physical milestones of being able to do something like a squat or lunges or that sort of thing, really made me open my eyes of other things I can do. And I think that's helped me really flourish mentally, honestly.
Well, and I did want to touch on one more thing. You asked, where do you draw that line? And I think it's honesty with yourself. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you're truly honest with yourself, there's a voice telling you, you're just being lazy. You're not doing the things you should be doing. You're taking the easy route. And then there's other times you're like, no, like this is the time that I do need to be able to breathe, or I do need to take a rest day. I think talking about the actual physical piece is a very good translation, but it obviously has more to do with just the physical piece.
Yeah, and we write that voice off. You're not doing what you should be doing sometimes as the negative narrative. The inner asshole, as my friend Mary Josephine calls it. We write that off. It's saying, oh, you're just judging yourself. Oh, you're just, you know what I'm saying? And so it becomes this, if I lean in, like Jenna was saying, if I lean into the physical stuff, am I saying to myself, I'm not good enough? And so holding on to that, I always say I am more than, rather than saying I am enough, because I always think, okay, well, if you need 10 cents, I'd like to be 28 cents instead of 10 cents. You know what I'm saying? So I always say I am more than. But leaning into that space of fitness when I obviously am, like Jenna said, so bad at it, like that, am I turning my back on myself, on how I feel about myself? Like there's this space to kind of figure out how to exist in that. And I'm literally in that space right now. What you were talking about being able to do a squat, being able to do this, being able to do that. I have a neurological thing, and my audience all knows about this. I have a neurological thing. I walk with a cane, and I was a server for 27 years. So like I am used to running. So 10 years ago when this kind of like struck, it's not that I got a lot bigger, but I got a lot less able. Like I used to be running my ass off on a size 16 and like everything was cool, but now I'm having problems just getting around. So about 3 months ago, I had a health scare. Like a little heart thing. And I've had high blood pressure since my 30s. I turned 50 this summer, by the way. So that's 20 years of high blood pressure. And so I decided, okay, I did a bunch of research. I'm going to go vegan or vegan-esque. Now I'm already celiac, so I'm already gluten-free. So I went vegan beginning of March. And it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I feel good about it, all this kind of stuff. I didn't see any change physically. So that was the first thing. So then I'm like, well, let me add in some yoga. I've never done yoga before. I watched a yoga thing for big chicks. So that way I could get some easier things, because I have problems with my feet. I have problems with balance, right? So for a month, I've been doing yoga every single day, and I'm definitely getting better. I'm getting so that I can balance on one foot for a little bit. I'm getting so I can stretch a little bit. I have a little bit more control in my feet, because I have neuropathy in the feet. So it's hard to get the balance thing. Sure. And I'm seeing myself progress, and I'm recognizing those limits that I put on myself mentally when that doctor said to me, you'll never get better, you'll only get worse, this is progressive, and you're probably not going to be able to walk someday, that literally, even though I have been trying to counteract that, obviously in my physical being, somehow I embodied that, no matter how much my brain and my heart tried to throw it away.
So I have a question for you on the veganism part. Whenever you said you adopted that initially and didn't really see much physical change, was that disheartening at all?
Oh my God, yes.
Really?
But I keep hoping, okay, the change is on the inside. Like I keep saying to myself, I may not see the change, but the change is happening on the inside. And until I go back to my doctor, I won't be able to see what the actual physical change is.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you were talking about the physical piece, and this is no shade towards any medical doctors at all. I work with many doctors and love them all to death. However, I think that people hear the term medical doctor or DO or whatever you want to call it, and what they say is law. And while they're incredibly intelligent and more intelligent than I am in certain realms, the human body is incredible at doing things that we do not believe that it can. I highly suggest you listen to a book. You can listen or read it. Who am I kidding? I listen to books. And it's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. He's a incredible human being and has gone through a lot of physical torment to elevate his higher self, his mental fitness, as I call it. So good on you for powering through that and finding what works for you, because I think a lot of people are like, well, I got to get in shape, so I got to get a trainer and I got to go to a gym and I got to do. So good for you that you went and found yoga for your piece, and it sounds like you are improving. So good on you.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was honestly shocked because it was incredibly difficult to kind of stick with it. But like I've watched, there's a guy, he's a real like gung-ho, like fitnessy guy. And back like 6 or 7 years ago, he did this DP yoga, and this dude that was like 500 pounds started doing it. And so like I've watched some of his stuff, and like I just said, if I'm better than yesterday, which I want you guys to talk about the podcast, if I'm better than yesterday and I'm still doing it, just the fact that I did it today means that I'm making a step forward. And it's that same journey in spirituality. I got up this morning. I loved myself today. You know, like I comforted myself through that horrible thing that I was thinking about myself. Or even just I acknowledge that I'm thinking that, and I know that that's not the right way to be looking at this, but I'm not ready to shift yet. All of that is something that it's literally, Jake was the one who said it earlier, one step at a time, and taking these little measures that make a difference in our daily life. I mean, that's what I talk about spiritually, but I had never really applied it to the physical side of it.